How to change mindsets in various communities. This is one of the major topics that dominated discussions at the GBV and Indaba. A 24-year-old lamented risky behavior, such as having multiple partners, often introduced to boys at a young age. The young student is calling for better coordination between the Department of Social Development and Civic Movements to debunk misconceptions.
Multiple partners are just accepting you because of your status and how people look unto you. So therefore, when another person just decides to say, no, I'm not interested in you, there's a sense of hostility and there's a sense of this thinking that says, I'm entitled to that because of who I am. And it mostly happens with men in certain spaces and sometimes with women. And most of the times in certain spaces, different spaces that are being compared with men and women feeling entitled. And this thing contributes to gender-based violence.
Corporate South Africa is also on board to better capacitate organizations fighting the scourge.
We are going to be looking at how do we support women empowerment, and then of course we are going to be looking at research and information management. How do we support pilots of ways to tackle this issue? How do we support organizations that are really trying to study what happens and what leads to gender-based violence? How do we change the mindsets of communities, of our people?
The Office of the Gauteng MEC for Community Safety is calling for tougher consequences to deter perpetrators.
We measure in terms of convictions. We're seeing week in and week out, we're starting to get those convictions, but we want the private sector to join in so that we can, what do we do when someone is being convicted? Those person, we want it to be mandatory that they must be put or placed on a register, when it's called a National Register for Sexual Offenders.
Civil society committed to working together and strengthening initiatives to help victims of gender-based violence and femicide. Mbalenhle Mthethwa, SABC News, Johannesburg.